Welcome to this lecture on the structure and function of hemoglobin. Today, we are going to explore one of the most fascinating and vital molecules in the human body. Without it, human life as we know it would be completely impossible. We will build our understanding from the ground up, looking at how it is built, how it works, and how we can mathematically calculate its life-sustaining power. Let us dive in. To truly appreciate hemoglobin, imagine your body is a massive factory. Every single worker or cell in this factory constantly needs fresh supplies of oxygen to keep working. If you just threw oxygen into the river of blood flowing by, very little would dissolve and your workers would quickly suffocate. To solve this, your body uses a fleet of specialized delivery trucks called red blood cells. Inside these trucks are millions of highly specialized magnetic seats designed to grab onto oxygen packages at the lungs and release them exactly where they are needed. These incredible molecular seats are called hemoglobin. Now that we understand its purpose, let us look at what hemoglobin actually is. In formal biological terms, hemoglobin is a complex tetrameric metalloprotein found exclusively inside the red blood cells of vertebrates. The word tetrameric is key here. It means the molecule is built from 4 distinct protein subunits. In a normal human adult, these 4 subunits consist of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains folded together. This precise 4-part structure is what allows the molecule to function so perfectly as an oxygen carrier. Building on that 4-part structure, let us zoom in on the most critical component. Each of these 4 protein chains cradles a non-protein component called a heme group. At the very center of each heme group sits a single iron ion in its ferrous state, written chemically as Fe2+. It is this specific iron ion that reversibly binds to a single molecule of oxygen. Because there are 4 chains and 4 heme groups, one complete hemoglobin molecule can carry up to 4 molecules of oxygen at a time. This binding must be reversible, so it can hold oxygen tightly in the lungs, but let go easily in the tissues. Let us visualize everything we just discussed. On your screen is a detailed schematic of a single hemoglobin molecule. Notice the 4 distinct folded ribbons. These are the 2 alpha and 2 beta globin chains. Nestled inside each folded chain, you can see a flat, disc-like structure. Those are the heme groups. We have zoomed in on one of these heme groups on the right. Right in the center of that red disc is the iron ion, and you can see an oxygen molecule binding directly to it. This beautiful, symmetrical architecture is exactly what allows you to breathe and survive. Seeing the structure helps us understand its immense physical importance. The primary importance of hemoglobin lies in overcoming the physical limitations of oxygen solubility in water. At normal body temperature, only about 0.3 milliliters of oxygen can dissolve in 100 milliliters of blood plasma. That tiny amount is barely enough to keep a resting human alive for a few seconds. By packing our red blood cells with hemoglobin, our body increases the oxygen carrying capacity of blood by nearly 70 times. This massive boost is what allows us to exercise, think, and survive. While oxygen delivery is its most famous job, hemoglobin is actually a multitasker. Beyond just delivering oxygen, hemoglobin also plays a vital role in transporting carbon dioxide waste away from your tissues and back to the lungs to be exhaled. Furthermore, it acts as an excellent chemical buffer. As your cells work, they produce excess hydrogen ions, which could make your blood dangerously acidic. Hemoglobin acts like a sponge, soaking up these excess hydrogen ions to maintain a safe, stable environment in your bloodstream. To truly understand how hemoglobin sustains life, we must look at how doctors calculate the exact amount of oxygen in the blood. This brings us to the oxygen carrying capacity formula. C equals H times 1.34 times S over 100. Let us break this down. C is the total concentration of bound oxygen. H stands for the concentration of hemoglobin in the blood. The number 1.34 is Höfner's constant, representing the maximum milliliters of oxygen 1 gram of hemoglobin can hold. Finally, S is the percentage saturation, telling us what fraction of the available seats are actually occupied. If hemoglobin drops, total oxygen drops significantly. Now that we have our formula, let us see it in action with a healthy adult male. We are given a normal hemoglobin concentration of 15 grams per deciliter and an oxygen saturation of 100%. We want to find the total bound oxygen. We start by plugging our given values into the formula. The fraction of 100 over 100 simply becomes 1, meaning every single hemoglobin molecule is fully loaded. We then multiply the 15 grams of hemoglobin by Höfner's constant of 1.34. The final answer is 20.1 milliliters per deciliter. This means every 100 milliliters of blood carries about 20 milliliters of pure oxygen gas. Let us contrast that healthy example with a clinical scenario. A female patient arrives feeling extremely fatigued. Her blood test reveals a low hemoglobin concentration of only 8 grams per deciliter, though her saturation is still high at 98%. We use the exact same formula. First, we convert the 98% saturation into a decimal, giving us 0.98. We then multiply her low hemoglobin level of 8 by 1.34 and then by 0.98. The final answer is 10.5 milliliters per deciliter. Her blood is carrying only about half the normal amount of oxygen, which perfectly explains her severe fatigue. As we just saw in the math, a drop in hemoglobin has drastic physical consequences. This is why in clinical medicine, measuring a patient's hemoglobin levels is one of the most common and critical blood tests performed. Doctors use these levels to diagnose conditions like anemia, where the body lacks enough healthy red blood cells. It can also indicate internal bleeding or point towards nutritional deficiencies like a lack of dietary iron. Maintaining healthy hemoglobin levels is absolutely critical for our survival and daily energy. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us review the key takeaways. First, hemoglobin is an essential tetrameric protein containing 4 iron-rich heme groups that reversibly bind oxygen. Second, it overcomes the poor solubility of oxygen in water, boosting our blood's carrying capacity by nearly 70 times, while also managing carbon dioxide and blood acidity. Finally, we learned how to mathematically calculate this capacity using Höfner's constant, proving exactly why healthy hemoglobin levels are non-negotiable for human life. You now have a solid, foundational understanding of this incredible life-sustaining system. Great job!